This video is going to go through how to conduct a discriminant analysis corresponding to Chapter 10 of the Mertler and Reinhardt textbook. So we're going to go to Analyze, come down to Classify, then we're going to choose Discriminant. I'm going to specify our variables. So the grouping variable is one's outlook on life. That ranges from 1 to 3, and you'll have to specify that by clicking Define Range. The independent variables that we're going to select include age, hours won, education, income, siblings, SP hours, and TV hours. Okay, so we're going to click on Statistics and make sure we've got the means, univariate ANOVAs, and the boxes M selected. Under Method, we're going to choose Wilks Lambda, which is the default. We're going to make sure we have Summary of Steps checked. And under Classify, we're going to make sure it says Compute from Group Sizes. We're going to request a summary table and leave one out classification. We're going to use the Within Groups covariance matrix, and we're going to use the Combined Groups plots. So that'll show the final result with different groups color-coded. Okay, and we're going to save our results. We're going to save the discriminant scores as variables. So we'll check that and continue. And then we're ready to click OK. And that will generate our results. Okay, so what we see here are the descriptive statistics for each group, which is kind of an interesting way to compare them. You can look at those with a dull, a routine, or an exciting outlook on life. And there's their average age differences, for instance. Some kind of interesting observations can be made there, such as older people have a more exciting outlook than younger people by a few years. In terms of their income levels, certainly you can see a big difference there across levels of a group membership. Education, you see a 12.8 here for dull, a 13.5 for routine, and then it goes up further to 14.8 for the exciting group. All right, if we come down to the ANOVA table, we see that only education and income display significant group differences. So those are the only two variables that have significant differences across those categories or those memberships of groups. Okay, down to the boxes M result, we see it's not significant, which is good news. So we meet the assumption of homogeneous covariance matrix. And then we come to the stepwise statistics. So if we look down here, the variables in the analysis are the same ones we identified from the ANOVA table as being significant. Education and R income 2. Right? And then the variables not in the analysis are the other variables that we specified. If we come to Wilks Lambda, we see that we have significant step 1 and step 2 here. And the canonical discriminant functions are the next thing we look at. And what we see when we come to the Wilks Lambda is that only factor 1 is significant. Factor 2 just barely falls under not significant. Okay, misses the cutoff. These are the standardized canonical discriminant function coefficients. So function 1 correlates positively with education and function 2 negatively and strongly, whereas income correlates moderately strongly with function 1 and very strongly with function 2. And then if we include the other variables back in, we can see variable correlations with the two functions that were identified. And these are functions that group centroids. Centroids are the kind of middle point for each group. The groups are the dull, the routine, the exciting, and the ungrouped are the remainder. So those three centroids are what we're looking at there. And so we see function 1 has a perfect negative correlation with dull, essentially, and it's moderate strong. Function 2 has a moderate strong negative correlation with dull classification, and so on. And we come down to the classification results, and we can see the original and the cross-validated for comparison across categories. And then that's summarized down here, how many were correctly classified. Okay.